All right, guys, welcome back to the ALGS channel. Hope you guys are all doing well and having a great day so far. I've noticed that like a lot of times when I do the videos, I'm starting them off like way over here. So I'm gonna try to fix my camera angle and make sure that I keep it as, you know, I guess clean as possible. A good bit to dive into today's video regarding some drama in the Realm scene, especially with a viral clip, a viral player getting a lot of traction for being extremely unique, but then a lot of flack that came from that with Imperial Hal, Taxi 2G, many others as well. Albralelie announcing a very big announcement in his Apex Legends career, and also obviously the TSM correlation that was behind all of this. Kind of weird because I've been talking about this for quite some time, and then boom, out of nowhere, here it all happened. So make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you guys want to stay up to date all things Apex Legends esports related. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into this. So the first thing that I wanted to make mention of was the very obvious when Albralelie, he had a big announcement happen very recently. In his Twitter bio for quite some time has been competitive Apex for, or actually no, has been content creator for TSM. And I've always said, you know, how has he gotten away with playing with Cloud9, playing with FaZe, playing with all these other organizations while still being signed to TSM? Like, how does that even work? And then like shortly after I said that, TSM came out with this trailer, or without, you know, this little video. And it said, today we announced the departure of TSM Albralelie, an OG, a legend in the Apex community, and a TSM icon. Thank you for being a you know, integral part of our history. For the trophies and the friendship alike, we will all be cheering you on in your next adventure. Thank you, Alb. And so there was like this big video that they did, and it's really cool because it's kind of crazy when you look back on the history of TSM. And I remember a point in time where you just thought that this trio was never going to be broken up, right? Like you just thought Albralelie would be here for ages. You thought that Reps and Hal would be teaming together for quite some time. And then things obviously took a turn. Mac decided he was going to step away, and then he came back, as a lot of people do with Apex Legends. And obviously there was no spot for him whenever he came back, and so he had to switch teams, of course, in that as well. So it was kind of awkward through all these transitions, but nonetheless, they did happen. I'm kind of surprised he stayed here as long as he did, but there's obviously a lot of memories here as well. Even his former teammates coming here to kind of show his support. And it's pretty nice to see that he will be moving on to something bigger and something brighter. Well, I don't know if you can get much bigger in TSM, honestly, but he will be moving on to something in his competitive career, considering that he's obviously still playing in the Pro League right now with Team Lanimals. We'll see if they sign with an organization very soon. And he's actually, I think, hinted very recently that there will be an announcement coming very soon as well. I think on his personal Twitter, he had actually retweeted all of this stuff. And basically said to new beginnings. So we'll see what these new beginnings are very, very soon. Also wanted to make mention of this. This was some viral content that had been going on, and I'm actually pretty interested to talk about this because Zerbow was a guy who competed in my community $1,000 battle royale tournament. We had that a couple weeks ago. He dominated, he fried. It wasn't even really close. Those guys really stepped away with this game, right? They won the money very easily. There was actually, you know, unfortunately, they were playing with a cheater that they did not know, so they had to get disqualified. But Zerbow, as an individual, was frying this lobby. So it was kind of crazy because I saw this and I'm like, oh, shoot, Zerbow's like, you know, actually making a name for himself over in this Realm League as well. This is pretty cool to see. However, if you don't know Zerbow, he's a little unique. He does not communicate at all. Like, well, he communicates with pings and texts. He does not talk at all. And when I joined the call to like have a conversation with him, I was like, yo, does Zerbow talk? Does it? And they literally told me, no, he's never spoke in his life on Apex. He just doesn't use the mic. He just only types. And it's kind of weird. I was like, this is a little awkward. Surely, you know, he doesn't play with a lot of good players because they're not going to want him to like not be able to comm. He told me specifically in a DM that a lot of his teammates actually like it because you don't counter comm, you don't like, you know, talk over each other, and he's kind of forced to be, I don't know what you would say, like a follower. He's not like, he's the very opposite of an IGL. He doesn't call any shots. He literally supposedly full sends whatever the IGL calls here. So sometimes it's good, especially whenever he's this good of a player. He fries people, and so he's been actually doing pretty well in Realm. And Tech actually retweeted it saying Zerbow has literally never spoken a single word, and yet he still gets hate from even outside of Realm. So Zerbow made this tweet saying the CEO has spoken. Basically, Hal was calling out saying, you know, he don't think that this guy should even be able to compete. And that's when Zerbow was showing his highlight clips as well. What's kind of interesting to me, though, is I feel like this kind of indicates that, you know, it's not a one-to-one comparison of skill in Apex to opportunity in Apex, because a lot of people will say, well, this is why, you know, I'm not good. Maybe I can understand the location, but like, you know, you're not forced to even speak in Apex like Zerbow. And Zerbow's hit these ceilings that I feel like, you know, if Zerbow can hit it, anybody can hit it. He's a normal human just like everybody else is, but he doesn't even communicate. So there's no excuse as to like, oh, I didn't get the same opportunity, or I'm a Masters player. They kicked me out because they said I'm not good enough, or whatever it may be. Or, you know, they're trying to, you know, purposely target me and kick me out of the league or whatever because I got vouched and now they say I'm not good enough. Zerbow's a guy who doesn't even talk, and he's making this stuff happen. And obviously he's had some bad games in there as well, but overall this guy is so cracked that he doesn't even have to talk sometimes. There's no excuse as to why you can't be cracked regardless of your opportunities that you've had, and you don't even have to speak just like this guy does. So I don't know, it's kind of weird. I think location obviously is a pretty big opportunity. Like if you're just in a really bad part of the world and you can't play against the best players, then obviously that's a, you know, iffy situation. But when it comes to, you know, a lot of people using the excuse of, oh, they don't have equal opportunity, therefore they can't be good because you need to play against the best players in order to get better. Zerbow is playing against the best players, you know, in realm, some of the best players. It's arguably, obviously he's playing against a lot of pros, but they're not 3-stacking and whatnot. It's all solo queue. That's the way the realm league works. But Zerbow is basically not using communication. He's not being gate kept of any opportunity because of that. And obviously he's a mystery man. Nobody even knows who this guy is, what he sounds like. If he might not, even if he is a guy, I don't know if he's like, you know, confirmed. He might, what if he might, I don't know what he is, honestly. He's literally the mystery man, and yet he's still making it happen. I feel like there's no excuse other than location. Like if you're just APAC North and you want to play against NA pros so that you become better, and it's just the ping's not there, that, you know, they don't let you play anyways, then obviously that's a big opportunity that you miss. But I definitely don't feel like that skill is a one-to-one comparison of the opportunity when you look at people like this Zerbow who have been living proof that you know, opportunities can be made within themselves as well, as long as you are willing to put in the time and be cracked enough. And like I said, I know there's some overall, you know, discrepancies or exceptions there, that maybe some things are different, but for the most part, there's no one who can't be a Zerbow. Like you can go mute and not comment at all and have the exact same opportunity that Zerbow does. I think he's in Canada. So there's literally nothing that he has done that you can't do as an individual. So I feel like a lot of that time, you know, the opportunity stuff is, you know, sometimes an excuse. Sometimes it may make sense, but a lot of the times it could just be an excuse. Also, though, there was a lot of love for him, but there was also a lot of hate for him. So this was the clip that originally started, that gained a lot of traction, of the CEO himself saying why he thinks Zerbow should not even be allowed to play in the Realm League. Roll the clip.
Yeah, you have a guy in Realm, Zerbow, that doesn't even communicate, so that'll be sick to get him. Yeah. And just, I mean, one-trick Horizon.
I'll be honest, bro, he shouldn't be allowed to play. Just not
yeah,
talking.
I agree, to be honest.
It's just not fair if you have a teammate that just can't talk. How are you gonna work together?
Swing left of me, swing left of me. Nice. In. Two more right there. They're taking the rocks, I think the rocks. Clear hit. You guys got this. I hear left one. Win this. Nice. Zerbow.
No, I died. On my wall. Grabbing. Grab a swap if you can, Zer. On the other side of my wall. Other side of my wall. Other side of the wall right here. Careful, behind you. One behind knock. Last one on me. Last one on me. Let's go, boys. Fucking beautiful. I love you, Zer. Fuck, man. I wish I had you more.
Inside. Nice. That was cracked. Sitting in gas. Sitting in gas. Right here. Nice. We traded. Resing. Good knock. Still.
So it's kind of interesting. Obviously, I think most of us would respect Imperial Howl's like opinion in a lot of things, pro league or pro, you know, Apex examples, because obviously he's got a lot of accolades. He's like one of the biggest goats, or if not the biggest goat in the scene. His opinion always means something. In you know, my opinion, I think his opinion always means something, to be quite honest with you. However, you know, it's kind of hard to also say, you know, whenever he said like, oh, he's a one-trick Horizon, then you see him winning all these games as Valkyrie. And it's kind of weird just to be a person who's not, you know, not in being intrusive in anybody's games, not trying to, you know, like throw anybody's games, not doing anything wrong, not talking bad about anybody. He's doing well. And, you know, like despite what Hal said, being a one trigger rising, he's winning games as other legends, and he's still getting hate. And not only like just saying like, oh, I can't believe he doesn't talk, then saying that I don't think he should be even able to play in Pro League. Now, Hal did go to say he would never go out of his way to make sure he can't play in Pro League. That's not the way he believes, but it's just kind of very selfish, he says. So he goes on to say, like, in a lot of the, you know, his long thread, saying it's not even hate, it's just reality. Realm is a competition and Apex is just a team game. The number of people in Realm are trying to make a name for themselves or even make money off of it just seems, but he seems not to be able to speak because it helps him play better or whatever. It's just very selfish. If he has a personal reason, so be it, but for him to not speak so that he can individually play better instead of working on him being able to communicate and perform at the same level is just selfish. Like I said, again, in Realm is a competition. If I was running it, I would not allow him to play. But, you know, everybody's allowed to feel how you feel. He also goes to say, you know, and of course he's good because he's practically doing the bare minimum in an Apex game. Ultimately, I see it as a very disrespectful act towards the other players competing in Realm as well, who are trying their very best while he is possibly just not speaking for his individual performance, which is why I would take offense from it. Again, this is personal. If there's a personal reason, then it's fair, but he has not said anything regarding it. The whole situation is about respect. And if you aren't going to be your best as a player in an environment where dreams can possibly be made, aka Realm, then you should not be there, period. No argument. So it's definitely an interesting conversation. And I'm not saying that I completely disagree with Hal. I actually think that some of his points are fair about the selfishness and whatnot, but I do think that there's bigger fish to fry here. I think someone who's obviously cracked at the game, obviously playing pretty well, is a lot less something you need to worry about versus someone who's not good at the game, shouldn't have been invited around to begin with, got in because of vouchers, but they're not good at the game. Like, that's something you should write threads about, not something that, you know, when someone's playing very well, he's actually winning games with his teammates on video are saying, I wish I could get you more often, Zerbo, you're insane, you're cracked, and, you know, also calling him a one-trick horizon, but he's playing Valk and still winning games. So it just seems like a bunch of noise. It just sounds like a bunch of noise of people trying to find something to complain about. I don't feel like this is the biggest criminal act in, you know, Realm history. I think honestly the people that shouldn't have been there, people that don't show up, people that dodge, are a lot more worthy of writing threads about than a guy who doesn't want to use his mic, but he still uses pings, he still uses, you know, quick chat and whatnot. And obviously his teammates seem to really like him a lot of the time. Sometimes obviously there were some people that said they didn't like him, but Zerbo went obviously made this sweep. And a lot of the pro players agreed. Like, Design was like, it's all right, bro. If I get you on a team, we'll land on them in Siphon. A lot of people from Exet as well had basically said that, you know, like, I actually love you as a player. I think you're a great player. You know, it's something that, like, I would be, like, I think we would run the lobby together if we were on the same team. So a lot of people in the comments seem to really think that, you know, it's not that big of a deal and that maybe a lot of this stuff is just kind of crazy noise. It was also weird because Taxi had also said, you know, that he was hard griefing, and Zerbo like kind of bounced back saying, if being mute is hard griefing, then I wouldn't be able to hold the top stats in a round. There's a lot of players in there that have actually never played in Pro League or have any sort of comp experience. And that's what I was trying to say. You know, Hal should be more concerned about writing, you know, against these guys. I feel like these guys are definitely something a little bit more worthy to talk about and not Zerbo. But, you know, nonetheless, I still understand what Hal was trying to say. But it's kind of weird because Taxi's over here calling Zerbo a grief, and then Zerbo's like, aren't you the guy that ditched his team during mid-CC? I don't think it's possible to grief any harder than that. And so it's the truth. And it's kind of funny because I think Taxi went on a blocking spree after this. I think he blocked Zerbo. He blocked Dom2 Cracked. He blocked me the other day I actually commented on him ditching his team. And I said, I understand your frustration because, like, you know, the video that he showed was kind of crazy. His teammates weren't listening. And I understood his frustration. But I said, but leaving in the middle of a game and ditching your tournament or ditching your teammates like that, definitely not that, you know, that's not that cool. And he blocked me for that as well. So it's like, you know, at this point, it's like an accolade. If you can get blocked by Taxi, you're doing something right. So I'm not saying, once again, that anybody is like hard wrong on this. I just think that people need to consider a little bit more before they jump to conclusions. I don't think that, you know, him not talking is as big of a deal as people getting into the league that have no experience at all. Hal even said, why don't you speak? And he said, I wouldn't want to take your CEO spot, honestly. So Zerbo obviously clapping back with some good stuff. And he said, I respect it, but it ain't that easy. And so I think Zerbo's kind of built a good name for himself. I actually like what he's doing, and I hope he continues to have some success. I definitely think that, you know, communication is key, is a big one in esports specifically. But I think Battle Royale also could be played a little bit differently. And if it's like a problem with rotations and stuff, and you really needed to bank on your IGL, sometimes countercomming could be in effect, and it could hurt a team. I don't know if it's really like that big of a deal, and maybe overall it is better to have someone who comms. But and when it comes to the solo queue Realm League thing, I don't think this is like the least of anybody's worries, or it shouldn't be. At least it obviously has become people's worries, and I don't think it should be at all. But I'm interested to see what you guys have to say down in the comment section below. Make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you guys want to stay up to date all things Apex Legends esports related. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this. I shouldn't have even honestly gave my opinion. I should have stayed neutral like I always do, so that I can just make everybody happy and you guys can tell me what you think. But I mean, I respect a lot of these players, obviously, at the end of the day, and I don't have anything personally against them. Just thought I would speak my mind for a bit, but I'll go back to being neutral so that I can make sure I protect myself. And until the next time, I will see you all later, Gators.